There we go. What up, my man?
My man, D Rose. How are you, dude?
I'm doing all right. I want to welcome everybody to the Tuesday edition of Baseball Today, presented by our good friends over at Dugout Mugs. I've looked at the weather forecast. First of all, it's not as windy in Los Angeles, which is good because my pool umbrella was blowing all over the place last night. I had to do some serious work with that thing in the dark. And we should be good to go in Chicago. So there you go.
Good. I'm ready for some baseball. I want to see these Astros and the White Sox square off again. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That's coming up later today. But let's start with the first team that has arrived safely in the League Championship Series. That would be the Boston Red Sox, who get a walk-off from Kike Hernandez, the walk-off sac fly. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 in their best-of-5 series. What is it that impressed you most about Boston over those 4 games?
Their lineup became magically deep. I think for a lot of the year, they're pretty top-heavy lineup. We know what Devers and Bogarts and J.D. Martinez can do. And then, Kike kind of started hitting, and they got Schwarber. And then if you start looking at their lineup, last night J.D. Martinez was hitting, 6th? And the guys at the bottom of the lineup, Renfroe, Vasquez, these guys started to scare people. You didn't want to pitch to Vasquez last night. Everybody knew he was going to get on in the 9th inning there last night. Did the job. So I think their ability to stretch that lineup at least to me, and I'm not watching the Red Sox every day, but it seems like that kind of came out of nowhere. And it proved to be the difference maker in the game last night. That, and they kind of found 2 horses to run out there in the pen.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is that, every pitching decision in the American League, because that's really where most of your strategy comes in the AL. In the NL, there's a lot more in terms of pinch hitting and double switches and all that sort of stuff. But in the AL, it's when do you get your starter out of there? And I thought Alex Cora made the move of the entire postseason in Game 2. I think it would have been really easy for him to run Chris Sale out there a second inning, but he realized you ain't got it. And he goes to Tanner Houck, who was phenomenal this year. But to give the ball to a young kid, and then what he did over the next 5 innings to keep that team in that game and allow that offense to buy some time. And then last night with Garrett Whitlock, who I know was really their best reliever, basically start to finish throughout the year. But he came in the most critical situation. The Rays had come back. They had tied the game. They had the top of their lineup up. They were ready to take the lead and take this series back to Tampa. And he slammed the door shut. So I thought that, in addition to using Pivetta in a couple of critical times. He bought time for their relievers in Game 1, where I think he threw something like 70 pitches out of the pen. Then to come back and do what he did with 4 scoreless in Game 3, I really thought that Alex Cora pushed all the right buttons.
What are they going to do with Pivetta in a 7-game series? Is he going to start games?
Yes.
He has to, right? It's going to be interesting to see how he handles it through 7 games. It's a little bit different than a 5-game set.
Yep.
Pivetta was so good out of the pen, giving him those innings. It's just, I'm curious how he gets used. If he goes on a start and he goes 4 innings and maybe they're up, do they take him out and say, hey, maybe we'll use you the next day or something like that? I'm curious to see how his brain is going to work. But Yankees fans are just crying more tears because they gave away Garrett Whitlock, who looks to be just an absolute
yes.
Gave it to me.
Yeah, by the way, kudos to Alex Cora. I know that you and I really differ on the role of a manager, maybe more so during the regular season than the playoffs. But the guy is 15-4 career in the postseason. And if you haven't had a chance, go watch his one-on-one interview with John Paul Morosi of the MLB Network. He was in tears. He talked about how he made a terrible mistake when he was with Houston. He paid for it, how it cost his family. He said, it's one thing for me to take the shots. It's another thing for it to wear on my family. And it was a real humanizing interview for a guy who I actually think, despite what happened in Houston, is still pretty respected around the game because of who he is.
I mean, he's not like a bad person. He didn't kill anybody or harm anybody. I mean, maybe harm some careers, which, that's kind of a big deal.
That's severe.
And he actually got punished.
He did.
He got punished. They got welcomed back, and they were talking to the owner of the Red Sox, and some reporter was like, was that a tough decision to bring him back? And he's like, no. And they're like, well, people are saying, and he said, we don't listen to those people. They wanted their guy. They went out and got him again. And yeah, he's done a great job. 100%. He has the respect of all those guys in the clubhouse. And guess what?
Yep.
It matters.
Right. And people, what's the number one complaint we've heard about the whole Houston thing? Well, the players didn't get punished. Here's a guy who did. You cannot have it both ways. You can't say, all right, well, those guys didn't get punished, so I'm going to still harbor ill will toward them. But then when a guy gets punished, at some point, as humans, we've got to turn the page. He paid his penance. He paid a penalty. If you didn't think it's as stiff as it should have been, then go take it up with the commissioner's office. You know, it wasn't like he chose his own penalty. He sat out an entire year. That can be pretty damaging to a person's career.
100. So, yeah, and you know what? All the people talking about, you know, like Cora, you know, shouldn't be in baseball or, you know, still don't respect him enough. Like, there's someone on your team, most likely, they got popped for steroids, served a suspension, and now he's back. Or there's other situations that are much worse. Domestic abuse. You're back on your like. You pay the toll, man, and he did.
Yep. All right, so the Red Sox will move on to face either the White Sox or Houston. In the meantime, Tampa Bay, after its most successful regular season, 100 wins, they end up bidding adieu to the postseason. Do you think they have to change anything moving forward, whether it's the way they handle their pitching or just some of their young players overall? What would you say?
No. The Rays are doing an excellent job. I mean, they were in the World Series last year, had a 100-win team this year, you know, got stung by the Red Sox. This series could have been there so easily. Mm-hmm. If KK's ball doesn't hit off of Renfroe, they're up 2-1. Yesterday's game is completely different. And they almost won yesterday's game. They came back from a 5-0 deficit. I think they're doing everything right. Okay, guess what? They should have had Tyler Glasnow. I know that a lot of people are saying, look, they need starters. It's better to go the traditional route. They need guys to go long in games. Well, they're going to have that next year. McClanahan, Boz, Glasnow, Price, and Patino, like these guys are stacked. Mm-hmm. They're doing everything the right way. Not everyone can win the World Series every year. And like, that's such a weird standard that we put on teams like, oh, they didn't win the World Series, so this year is a failure. It's like, no, dude, that's not the case. They won 100 games, they won the division, and they got in the playoffs. That's what these teams are trying to do. They're trying to get in the dance, and then we'll see what happens. And the Rays are going to be here for the next, I don't know, the way they're set up, 5 years?
Yep, easily. Yep, easily. And, you know, Eric Neander, their outstanding GM, just got extended, so he isn't going anywhere for the foreseeable future. You mentioned Glasnow. Unfortunately, he's going to miss all of 2022. Yeah, I don't know if he's thrown his last pitch as a Tampa Bay Ray. We'll see what happens with him contractually in the offseason. I would like to see them get a stronger veteran presence. I mean, I think they really missed Charlie Morton this year. I know they brought in Rich Hill, but then they turned him around and traded him. I think they need somebody of the ability in between. Hill's been really good, don't get me wrong, but he's basically a five-and-fly guy these days. So I want somebody closer to the Charlie Morton in terms of productivity. I really think that could help as far as their pitching goes. Other than that, they're on the right track. I mean, who knows if Kiermaier's going to get traded in the offseason. He's going to make more than $12 million. Brandon Lau was a disaster in the postseason. He's going to make $4 million. Other than that, they've got a lot of arbitration-eligible guys and veterans on one-year deals. So they're stacked perfectly.
They're stacked.
And for all go ahead.
You made me sad thinking about Glasnow next year. I totally blanked on that one.
Yeah.
Really sad.
Sorry.
Not pitching next year.
Yeah. And I saw a few people in the chat who are like, they got to get rid of Kevin Cash. Really? Because he pitched to Kike? I have to imagine, once again, that was all numbers driven for them, even though he had been red hot.
Kike, you're going to pitch to Devers?
Yeah, with the bases loaded.
And then Bogarts?
Right.
Poison, bro. Like that. Come on.
Yeah.
People overthink that. People play that, Monday morning quarterback way too much.
Yeah. Real easy for now. Well, you shouldn't have pitched to him. Well, Jesus, yeah, he had a sac fly. Congratulations. So you'll walk him, and then Devers gets you. Well, then what? You should have pitched to Kike. Ooh. Enough. I mean, good job.
There's no way I'd rather pitch to Kike Hernandez than Devers. Every situation, pretty much.
Somebody just said I would have rather had the chance of the double play. You had a chance to double play. It was first and third.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Congratulations to the Red Sox. We'll be talking more about them as we get ready for the ALCS. Giants could end the season of the champions tonight in Los Angeles. Are you surprised that San Francisco has slowed down the Dodger bats, shutting them out twice in the 3 games so far?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I mean, their pitching staff has been incredible all year. It's all we've ever talked about. Mm-hmm. And they're second to only the Dodgers in most of the major categories in pitching. So, no, I'm not surprised, especially because the Dodgers offense wasn't exactly scorching hot coming into the playoffs. But when you do look at the Dodgers lineup, you're like, holy shit, that team should not be getting blanked. There's something going on there. Hopefully their bats wake up today because I really, really want this series to go 5. I think these 2 teams are so fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Last night was a weird game. The wind was blowing in, as we saw at the end of that game. So nothing was going to carry except for Longo's shot, which he really must have hit the hell out of that baseball.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Good for Alex Wood, who left L.A. and wanted a chance to start, and he pitched 5 shutty. Did a great job. The bullpen was magnificent. The defense has been outstanding. Brandon Crawford, I know he's 34 years old, and usually you start slowing down a lot of shortstop. There aren't a lot of, 35-year-old plus shortstops, but he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. That play he made on Mookie, I thought changed the entire complexion of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good play, but, Longo even said it after the – I don't want to take away from it. I feel like I'm being such a hater right now.
Go ahead. You can.
It was a very catchable ball. Mookie just hit it at the wrong angle or whatever, But you're right. Their defense has been incredible. I thought the defense all throughout the playoffs has been pretty much – and it kind of goes to show you, you still need to do that. And with the Giants, when teams are zigging – you got to zag. And that's kind of what they did with some of the veterans they brought in and the trust they put in their veterans. Everyone's going young. And the Giants are like, you know what? We can find some real value in some of these older guys. If we tweak here and there and just kind of let them go play, we'll figure out the rest days for them so they're feeling good. And they're in a position now to beat the Dodgers.
Yes, they are. So the Dodgers got shut out 5 times during the regular season. It's not a huge number, but it's also not nothing. They struggled at times with their offense, particularly down the stretch. The thing about Posey, he has caught 14 shutouts in the playoffs, far and away the most. Now, I know that there's so many more playoff games these days than they had, obviously, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, right? Not until we got to divisional play did we even have an LCS series to talk about. But he's got 6 more than the next closest guy in Yadier Molina. So Buster Posey's doing something. And remember, he hasn't even been in the postseason in, 5 years or whatever it's been. So good for him. And kudos to you, who introduced the world to Camilo Doval in your sequence episode.
That's all my boy JP Martinez, the assistant pitching coach there. I started to take notice of, who is this guy throwing 100? And he started telling me, he's like, this is going to be our guy. He's so calm, cool, and collected about all these situations. And he kind of told me, he's like, look, he's got the stuff, but he couldn't find the strike zone. Had to figure out his breaking ball a little bit. And he went down, and to his credit, instead of going down to the minor leagues and just kind of doing his normal things, he went and worked down there, and here he is now. A 6-out, not even a question about it. I know Lux hit that ball well at the end there, which is what to kind of talk about, but 6 quick outs. That's what you want as a defender in that situation. You're like, come on, man, just do your job. Don't put a bunch of guys on base. Don't do the Will Smith thing. We don't need any of that. Let's go quick, and he did it. Yeah,
he did it. And you talk about the ball that Gavin Lux hit. Our buddy Jeff Passan from ESPN, he actually tweeted out something really interesting. Should I do it in his Elmo voice, by the way? You know how he does his Elmo voice?
Please don't.
No, okay. He hit the final pitch of the game, 106.9 miles per hour with 22-degree launch angle. Batters this season on balls hit with those stats hit 887 with 38 home runs. The Dodgers had 4 such hits this year. All were homers. That's why Lux gave us that look at the end of the game.
My buddy went to the game last night. He texted our group text. He said, the wind is crazy. He goes, I've never seen the wind like this at Dodger Stadium. He told me blowing out to right. I was going to tweet about it, but I was like, I'm sure somebody's already mentioned the elements. But it obviously played a huge factor.
Yeah. All right, let's move on quickly. Are we going back to San Francisco or not?
Who's starting for the Dodgers?
Well, as of right now, as of the time we're doing this show, we know that DeSclafani's going for the Giants. What we don't know, we heard everything's in play, and it sounded like Albert Pujols might have leaked that it's going to be Walker Buehler on short rest.
I think we go to San Francisco. I think we both said the same thing. This one's going to go 5. I think it does go back to San Francisco, and that's going to be a hell of a game. It's probably going to be cold there. Oh, my gosh. October.
Yeah. Very quickly, what we do know with DeSclafani is that he faced the Dodgers 6 times this year. He went 0-3. In the other 3 games, the Giants ended up winning it. They had one game, which was kind of an outlier to his entire season, where the Dodgers clubbed him for like 10 runs. Other than that, he had some decent performances, others where he was a bit rocky. He got lit up occasionally. So it's going to be very interesting. And by the way, do you think Duvall is available tonight or no?
I doubt it. Well, he didn't throw that many pitches, though.
I don't think he did either.
How many pitches did he throw?
No, not many. I mean, I should have looked ahead of time, but
he only threw 15 pitches, Chris, if I'm not mistaken. 2 innings.
2 innings. I think he's probably available tonight.
I'm going to look it up right now. You can ask your questions while I look this up.
Well, I'm going to actually tell you a little bit about Dugout Mugs, right? They love giving away free stuff. I'm going to repeat it. Free stuff. Who doesn't love free stuff? So they're giving away great products all off-season long, or all playoff season long. All you have to do is take one of these things. Your Dugout Mugs. Do this. Snap a photo, snap a video, put it on social media, and tag Dugout Mugs. You'll be entered for a chance to win. Now, you might say, well, I don't have anything from Dugout Mugs. That's okay. They're giving away a great discount to get something. Like the Knob Shot. We always talk about the Knob Shot. One of these bad boys. It's great. Go to dugoutmugs.com/today. Use the code word today. All you have to pay is the $8.95 shipping and handling. They have great products. They've got the regular things, which you can get engraved. Remember, these are baseball bats. They're awesome. You got the wine. You got the bottle opener. You got the Knob Shot. You got everything you need. So they're going to be riding with us all playoff season long. Dugoutmugs.com/today to get your free Knob Shot. Go out and do it. Let's find out.
I love that. I got his – oh, my God. Okay, so he pitched game 1. He threw 9 pitches. Didn't pitch game 2. Pitches game 3, 2 innings, 22 pitches. He's available tonight.
Yep, definitely. Definitely. All right, let's move on to the other National League Series where the Braves have a chance to close out the Brewers. Does Atlanta get it done today?
Oh, man. It's another tough one. I think they do. But, I mean, the Brewers aren't going to go down without a fight. It's going to be good baseball. I kind of hope this one goes 5-2 because I think the two teams are just kind of evenly matched and both teams have been playing pretty good. So if you're asking me to really make a decision here, I think the Braves – I think they do get it done. I think they do. I think that the momentum's there. They're playing. They're fired up. Like, everything's kind of going their way. So, yeah, I'm going to say yes. They punched their ticket tonight.
All right, so people are saying in the chat, because as I checked about 5 minutes before this, Morton against Lauer is what it sounds like. Interesting that they're not going back to Corbin Burns with their season on the line.
Is he available? I don't know.
Short rest. Charlie Morton's available. He's 37.
I'm curious. I mean, yeah, that just came out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if they give some reason as to why. I don't know, man. It seems to me like you want to get to 5, right?
Yes.
You want to do everything to get to 5.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. The Brewers aren't going to get to 5 if they don't get a clutch hit. Their inability to hit with runners in scoring position, both teams, is maddening, to be honest with you. Yesterday, the Braves get the huge homer, the pinch hit homer from Joc, and that's been it. That was it. Okay. I asked the question yesterday, do you think one of these two offenses breaks out? And we were like, no.
Yeah, no, these are going to be close games from start to finish. I think we've said that. And, Joc provided the difference yesterday. So, yeah, it is going to come down to, Chris, who gets the hit with runners in scoring position.
The Brewers have scored in 1 inning. They've scored in 1 inning. They've gone 19 consecutive innings since the Rowdy Tellez home run. I mean, come on, do something. Yesterday was extremely frustrating for them because they had the situation where they had runners on? Was it second and third, nobody out, and Kane hit that smash that couldn't get by Dansby Swanson. You can see how frustrated Kane was. It was like he ran into the middle of the diamond. He was like, God damn it. And they couldn't get any runs home, and that was it.
There were some big plays there, that double play that Dansby turned with Yelly up there. God, the middle of the field is just a dead zone now. You have to look that's the new age hitting is going to say keep the ball out of the big part of the field. That used to be that's what you tried to do. Hit the ball in the big part of the field. Now it's like, no, if you hit the ball in the middle, there's a shortstop right there.
Right.
Best outfielder is right there. Fuck that. Let's go down the lines now. That's what I'm going to cheat. When I'm a hitting coach in the big leagues in 5 years, pull it, baby, down the line.
Yeah. And by the way, the lack of Brewers hitting forced Craig Counsell into his most controversial Game 3 decision, which was pulling Freddie Peralta, who was throwing a gem at that point. But after 4 innings, if you've got a shot to do something, this is before the Braves got on the board, he had runners on, couldn't get it done, and that was that. It was it.
I know. This is where, the strategy is fun to talk about the next day in NL baseball, but at the same time, it's I kind of want to see Peralta continue to pitch there and have a hitter hit in the situation.
No, he had to get something.
No, I know. I'm just saying, NL baseball forces these decisions. And
yes.
So now they're fun, but now it's we're talking about the managers instead of what actually happened on the field with the players. You would have Peralta continue to pitch if this was next year when the DH is everywhere. We won't have to talk about this anymore. And then we're going to be talking about how much managers mean, which is going to be.
I think it's a fun part of the game. I mean, they're a huge part of the game.
I do too. But do you want the DH for everybody, or do you want the NL to stay?
All I can tell you is that it made it a fascinating part of yesterday's game.
Yeah.
And without it, then we're just whatever. It just adds another layer. To me, it makes it interesting. All right, let's continue on. Sox Astros rained out yesterday, as your AMS seal of approval guy, Chris Rose, told you was going to happen. That allowed Dusty Baker to make a pitching change. He is now going with Game 1 winner, Lance McCullers Jr. Do you expect him to dominate like he did in Game 1?
First, I want to give you credit. You called the rain out very early. You are a weather nerd. I've got to tip my cap to you. Does he dominate? It's tough to dominate twice in a row. You've seen the same lineup again. But I'm on record saying that Lance McCullers Jr. is top 3 big game pitchers right now for me. I think it's Urias and him and, I don't know, somebody else I can think of. But I'm going to say he gives a really good outing today. I don't know about dominating. Maybe let me give you a line real quick.
Yes.
He goes 5-2.
You're only giving him 5 innings, huh? He's not going on short rest.
I was going to say 6 with 2 runs.
Yeah.
6 with 2.
Yeah, I actually think the White Sox take it to him today.
Okay.
Whoa. You okay? What are you doing there? What happened?
What?
Well, seriously?
It's CBD.
I don't care what the hell it is. I thought you had a number 2 pencil. I thought you were like the former Minnesota Vikings coach, Mike Tice, who used to have a number 2 pencil in his ear the entire game.
No.
I didn't know what that was. Thanks for clearing it up, man. I feel better. And by the way, that should help clean up the comments.
Yeah, now they know.
I don't think McCullers makes it out of the 5th today.
That's interesting. Why? Just because the second time you seen him?
I think the White Sox are an entirely different team at home. Yeah. Entirely.
He looks like he should be pitching for the White Sox. He would fit in the South Side very, very well.
Yeah, you know what, though? Based on Kopech and Kimbrel, he would have his hair in a man bun. He wouldn't let it just lay out the way it does. I'm all for it. I like letting it eat, but my guess is their team man bun.
I guarantee that Lance McCullers Jr. has had his hair in a man bun before already. I feel like that fits his personality.
Yeah. Somebody just hopped in the chat and said, somebody please tell me that Hal Steinbrenner report is not true about Boone staying. Don't know. We don't get reports.
Go read Joe Torre's quote about Aaron Boone. I actually screenshot. I was going to send it to Jimmy and Jake. Basically, the main line that I took off was, "You're only as good as your players allow you to be."
Yeah.
It's not a Boone problem. All these problems they keep talking about, like you don't have a shortstop. Like that's a big problem for a team if you don't have a shortstop. You don't really have a center fielder. You need more pitching. Like this is not something a manager can, change the lineup and fix all of a sudden. They have a lot of problems. So look, that's Yankees. You don't get to talk right now. You're on vacation.
Last thing before we go, Joc Pederson, the hero of Monday's game with a pinch hit 3-run homer. Are you more infatuated with his hair these days, that blonde mohawk that he's got working, or the fact he's wearing pearls?
This is where I come in, and I'm not a boomer in this sense, Chris. I know that pearls are very much in right now. In fact, one of my good buddies owns a company that's been putting these pearl necklaces together for about 2 years now, and everyone's wearing them. Justin Bieber, all these pop stars are wearing them, so they're very much in. Now, here's what's curious. I think these are from someone special, because there was a post-game interview with Joc, and they asked him about the pearls. He's like, "No, I don't really want to talk about it." So is it from – I don't know where it's from. I know he's married, so like maybe something with his wife. Not really sure. They don't look like the fashion pearls that I'm talking about, but they are in. Pearls are in. Maybe you should get a necklace.
Maybe.
Bring the age.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I'm not much of a jewelry guy. I got my wedding ring. I don't even have a watch right now that I wear, although that's going to change on Friday. Michelle bought me a watch, so I'm going to get one. And, yeah, you know what Joc did say? I liked him. I thought they looked cool, and that was it. He seems like, first of all, he's hilarious, right? Every interview, he seems like he is in a different world. Like he's just like, "What up, dude? Yo, brah."
People in the chat are saying he just saw some pearls and liked them and called his jeweler up. I'm gonna set him up with my guy, because those pearls aren't that cool. The ones my buddy does are really cool looking. So actually, I got Olivia some pearls. She wears them all the time.
Oh, pricey?
They're hot right now. Huh? They weren't
pricey,
Chris. They were.
Was it for a special occasion or just because I love you, Olivia?
Just because.
That's gonna keep you guys happy.
You went out with Olivia, okay? Tell me I got to keep that girl happy.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you're into really, really, really nice people who are also smoking hot, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever. Hey, what do you have coming up on JOMBOY?
Joc is the man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
JOMBOY Media. Let's see. Today is a sequence episode. Is it Tuesday? It is. Yeah. Sequence episode coming out today. I'm actually doing one on Nick Pivetta. So I did one on Camilo Duvall. Now Nick Pavetta's kind of become a Red Sox hero in the postseason. I did one on his at-bat against Mike Zunino. He was just going wild. His celebrations were awesome. So I wanted to showcase him a little bit. Mm-hmm. Kind of the changes he's been making. So that's coming out. And then I'm hopping right on with the boys right now. Doing Talking Baseball. We'll review the games, talk a little bit about the games tonight. I'm curious to hear what they got to say about the Red Sox. They don't like the Red Sox or Tampa, so they were damned either way.
Right. No, I get it. Just booked my NLCS preview show with one of the more entertaining players in baseball outside of the Rose rotation. He's going to help us get you all set for what will be the NLCS. I'm going to take that later in the week. And waiting for the ALCS to be all locked in, so that we can tape the ALCS preview. So just getting closer on that stuff. I know you'll really enjoy it. Really, really good stuff with active players that went against these guys this year. So it should be good.
Love it. And my preseason prediction is still looking good.
What'd you have? Houston and what?
Braves over the Astros in 6.
Yeah, you're feeling good still. Mine might end today. I had the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know why I did that.
That's not over.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Listen, everybody have a wonderful day out there. We appreciate you guys tuning in to Baseball Today every day, presented by Dugout Mugs. Don't forget to go to dugoutmugs.com/today. Go get yourself a free knob shot. All you have to pay is the $8.95 shipping and handling. That is it. We will see you again on Wednesday on Hump Day. We'll see you then.